Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. We're on page 128, and right below Hine ma tov, ma yafeh hayom, how beautiful is this day. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
I don't think there have been more truer words this whole season, perhaps, than, Chris, it's a little loud, if we could just take it down a little bit, than Ma Yafeh Hayom, as today was just one of those spectacular Vancouver days. Sucker weather, as they call it for you, right? If you only knew that it was generally gray, but every now and then it's bright and sunny. It was spectacular today, and I'm reminded of a teaching attributed to Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, a great modern theologian who was teaching at the conservative seminary, the JTS, Jewish Theological Seminary, and then also at the Reform Movement Seminary. But in this instance, Rabbi Heschel went and spoke in front of a gathering of priests. And he said to this room filled with priests and cardinals and leaders within the Christian community that a miracle had just happened today. And did you all see it? And the room was a bit of a flutter, and they were trying to think, what was he talking about? And he said, the sun came up today. And what he was trying to teach was that we become numbed to the miracles that surround us. But in Vancouver, when the sun comes out after months and weeks of it being gray and rainy and even snowy a little bit, we have that sense of radical amazement that Heschel was talking about. Today, we had just a little bit of that feeling of, wow, there are mountains beyond that mist. There is sunshine beyond the gray clouds. And so you do have this sense of miracle. The challenge is for us to not only see it on those days that seem to break custom or tradition, but to see it every day, because indeed the sun comes up, even if we can't see it here. The sun comes up every single day. To be in awe and wonder and to be in radical amazement for our natural world is to, I think, appreciate the blessings that surround us. Not only those that sit next to us, but those that surround us in our world. And that is very much a part of what it means to be a human being, what it means to be a Jew. To see the world and to stand back in awe and in wonder and to say, Nes Gadol Haya Sham. A miracle is happening right here, right now. So our Shabbos continues as we sing a new song, page 131, Shir L'Adonai, Shir Chadash, we sing unto God a new song.
Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru l'Adonai, Kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Pasru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Sapru v'goyim kevodo bechol ha'amim nifleotav, Ki gadol Adonai. Umhulal meyod norahu al kol Elohim ay 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 yarai rai rai yarai rai rai yarai rai rai yarai rai rai
We welcome the Sabbath angels, page 142, Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hashmachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We turn to page 121 as we invite to come forward to light the Shabbos candles Max's sister Leora, who just looks adorable tonight. I like the head thing, Leora. His mom Angela and his grandmother Rosalind. If you'll join me down there at the Shabbos candles. Leora, I want to wear a headband like that. That's just awesome. Come over here.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Light the other two.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Our service continues, page 138, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmianu el hamyuchad Adonai echad ushmo echad l'shemo tiferet v'letehila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'neilcha ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshava techila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Bela, Mikdash Melech, Ir Melucha, Kumitzi mitoch Afecha, Rav Lach Shevet, V'amek Habecha, V'hu Yachamo, Aleichem La, Lecha Dodi, Likrot Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela.
Verse 5.
Hitoreri, Kiva Orech, Kumi Uri, Shir Daberi, Kavod Adonai, Alayich Nigla, Lecha Dodi.
We rise and face the door to greet the
Likrat
Sabbath bride.
Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uv'tahala, toch emune am segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, Nekabela.
We turn to page 263, remain standing for Chatzi Kaddish, and as we enter into this portion of our service, we invite our bar mitzvah, Max, to join us on the bimah to help lead the rest of our service. Please remain standing. Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, Elmad yivrachute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon v'yom hechon, uv'chayedachol Beit Yisrael, bagala, uv'izman karib, v'himeru, amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach, Le'olam Olam Me'omayah. Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei D'Kudusha Barichu, Leila Min Kol Berchata V'shirata, Tush Bechata V'nechem Hata, Tamiram Be'alma, Ve'imeru, Amen.
Remain standing for the Baruch Hu, but just an acknowledgement. Judy Coblin just walked into our sanctuary. Judy, I think it's been 3 years since you were able to walk into our sanctuary. 2 years? Sorry, yeah, but you walked in, Judy, and that is just spectacular. We are so glad, so glad. We continue, page 264, the Baruch Hu. Oops, I'm going to need this.
Baruch Adonai HaMborach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher b'yivro ma'ariv arivim v'chokmah v'teah sha'arim v'binah v'shaneh itim v'hizlik v'zmanim v'sidr etah kohavim v'shem v'hem v'akir v'zona v'rei yom v'olah Lo or Mibnei Hosha, the Hosha Mibnei or Mavir Yom, Mavi Lila, the Deal Vain Yom, Vain Lila, Nai Shil Shalom, Hai Hayim, Mid Milk, Lam Vaed, Baruch Atah Adonai, Marish Arjim.
Amen. As much as it was for Judy to walk into our sanctuary, it's just as hard for Max to do that. And Max, that was wonderful. Continue, page 266, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avcha. Torah umitzvot ukim mishratim utanu limadita. King Adonai Eloheinu Eshoveinu Ukumeinu Nasiya Behukeha Nishan B'divrei Torah Teha U'Mitzvoteha Le'olam Le'olam Va'ed Yehem Chayenu V'Orech Yameinu U'Vahem Nekei Yomam V'Layla Ve'avateha Al Tishirenu Le'olamim Baruch Atah Adonai Elohei Amo Yisrael Elohei Amo Yisrael. We continue responsively. In each age, we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment, we are dressed by the world.
In each age, we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment, we stand face to face with truth.
In each age, we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder.
In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on the foundation of truth.
Baruch Atah Adonai Elohei Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Shem Le'olam Va'ed.
Page 268, let's chant together with Max the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'el asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlechtecha b'derech ושוכבך ובקומך כמיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם אני אדוני אלוהיהם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
We continue responsively on page 269. We worship the power that unites the universe, the promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
When we grant everyone will be claimed for ourselves.
Long ago we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned God's presence redeems time and event, and so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. Page 270, Michamocha.
Michamocha be'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot o seifele, Nora tehilot o seifele, Malchutecha rahuvanecha, Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, le'olam V'nemar, kifad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael.
Page 271, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, ve'amidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, ve'amidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ushmor tzeitenu, uvoenu, lechaim u'l'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, ve'amidenu shomreinu lechaim.
Ahad Ha'am, the great Jewish philosopher, Israeli philosopher, taught that more than the Jewish people have kept the Sabbath has kept the Jewish people. And if we unpack that for a moment in our own lives, beyond Sabbath, it is Jewish custom and tradition that has kept the Jewish people. I know some of you are here tonight to celebrate a bar mitzvah, and that in itself is Jewish custom and tradition, though it happens only once or twice in a person's lifetime. At 83, you're supposed to get a second one. I'm not sure I'll be there for that one, Max, so you'll just let me know how it goes. God willing. But there are others that have come tonight because it is Kaddish. It is this sense of duty and obligation to the memory of our loved ones for the practice that they perhaps had in their own lives or that our own parents modeled for us in remembering their departed parents, that we come to synagogue. For others, we come tonight because it is to see our friends and our neighbors to be in the context of community. Some we come to offer prayers of gratitude and thanksgiving for the blessings in our life, and that when something good happens, you go to shul to celebrate it. And others have come to offer prayers for healing, that when something is trying and challenging in our life, you go to synagogue to acknowledge it, to ask God's blessing and comfort. As much as the Jewish people have kept the Sabbath has kept the Jewish people. As much as the Jewish people have remained Jewish, being Jewish has kept the Jewish people. We need to embrace these traditions. Just as we sang B'Shamru now, or will in a moment, we need to embrace these traditions that we have, not out of a sense of theological belief necessarily, not because God commanded it. That can be a reason for sure, although I'm not sure that's the reason for many in our congregation, maybe down the street. But because we know intuitively, we know instinctively, we know because of our own lived experience that these are good guideposts for our life. That instead of being someplace else, we're here tonight because something inside of us and within the context of our community and our own traditions demands that we be here. As much as the Jewish people have kept the Sabbath has kept the Jewish people. As much as the Jewish people have been Jewish, being Jewish has kept us to be people and human beings, to find meaning in life. We can embrace Judaism without having to believe in all of the God talk, and just hear the soul talk that comes as well. V'Shamru, page 272.
V'Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ים בדה בim bam bai, Shabbat Shabbat, ים בדה bim bam bai, Shabbat Shabbat, ים בדה bim bam bai, Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
Chayin Nafash. Yam bada bim bum bye. Shabbat, Shabbat, yam bada bim bum bye.
Shabbat, Shabbat, yam bada bim bum bye.
Shabbat, Shabbat.
Shabbat, Shalom.
We turn to page 274 for the Amidah, and as we do, we rise, taking a moment for our own private meditation, and then we'll join together with Max. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agidi hilatecha. Eternal God, help us find the words that we might speak with you in prayer.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Hagibor Hanora Domino Hasidim Tovi Ekone Hako Ezoher Hasidim Vimot Umei Gula Livnei Leman Shemol Be'ahava Melech Mashiach Regan Baruch atah Adonai Megin Avraham V'Yasera Hagibor Le'olam Adonai Ehei Vitim Etah V'Lehoshia V'Shifaruch Arid Hagasha Mechakel Ha'im B'Chesed Mechayim Eitim V'Rahmim Rabim Zomech Nochlim V'Rechei Holy U'Matir Asuri U'Kayem U'Nato L'Shem E'Achar Michamocha Ba'al
Page 276. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh ukdoshim b'chayim yalalucha salha baruch ata Adonai ha'el ha'kadosh.
Amen. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch ata Adonai ha'el ha'kadosh. Please be seated. We continue the bottom of page 277.
Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Ritzei v'Menuchatenu Kadshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chelkeinu b'toratecha Sabeinu mituvecha v'samcheinu b'shuatecha V'taher libenu, v'taher libenu, v'taher libenu le'ovdecha be'emet, v'taher libenu, v'taher libenu, v'taher libenu le'ovdecha be'emet. V'anchileinu Adonai Eloheinu, be'ahava v'ratzon Shabbat kodshecha, ve'anuchu v'Yisrael, Mekadesh Mecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Page 278, the middle of the page. Let's read together in the English. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat.
Rutzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael u'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel u'tehi l'ratzon Tamid avodat Yisrael. Yisrael Amecha. El karov lecho, korav penei, elavadecha vechonenu. Shefach ruchacha aleinu v'techazena eineinu b'shubecha letzion berachamim Baruch atah Adonai HaMachazir Shechinato Letzion Letzion Letzion.
Page 280. Modim anachnu lach she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu le'olam va'ed. Surcheinu magen Yeshuenu atahu l'dor v'ador. The top of page 281. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise.
For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being. Ve'al kulam, ve'al kulam, yitbarach b'tromam, yitbarach b'tromam, shimcha malkeinu, tamid le'olam va'ed, ve'al kulam, ve'al kulam, yitbarach b'tromam, yitbarach b'tromam, shimcha malkeinu, tamid le'olam va'ed. Ve'chol chaim yoducha sela, v'hallelu et shimcha be'emet, ha'el Yeshuateinu v'ezratenu sela, Baruch atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha, Hatov Shimcha, Ulecha, Ulecha nae lehodot.
The prayer that the cantor just chanted and part that we read in English is called a hoda'ah. It's a prayer of thanksgiving. So often we come to synagogue to cry and to mourn. Some come to kvetch, to complain. But it's important that we acknowledge the blessings and the goodness in our lives as well. A family celebrating a bar mitzvah this weekend. We celebrate and acknowledge the blessing and the joy that is that. I mentioned earlier, Judy again, so wonderful to have you in our congregation again and to walk in under your own power. I liked the little cart that you drove, but better to not drive on Shabbos. Who has a blessing? Who has something good that's going on in their life that we can acknowledge and say a thank you for? Who can share a simcha, a joy? This is the participatory part of the service. Yes, Annika. Cousins from Toronto. Wonderful, Wonderful. Cousin from Toronto. Wonderful. Yes. Ah, Mazal Tov. Terrific. When's the wedding? Okay. Who else? Yes, John. Mazal Tov. And this is your stepson in England or no? In Poland. Portland. Not to be confused with Poland. Yes. Mazal Tov. Who else has a joy, a simcha, something to celebrate? Jill, yeah. Wow, terrific. An 18-year-old grandson in Japan, by himself. Anyone else? Ah, Kenahora, that's wonderful, wonderful. Happy birthday, Yom Huledet Sameach, Leila, 11. 12, still 11. 12, terrific. Anyone else? Your granddaughter's what? Your granddaughter's having twins, we hope. That's a blessing and, that's wonderful. Mazal Tov. B'sha'a tova, we say. It should happen at a good hour. I'm not sure there's a particularly good hour for twins, but whenever that is, it should happen. Ken, what about you guys? Celebrating grandchildren and a birthday coming up. For all of these things, we say the following blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov v'hametiv. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, for all that is good and wonderful in our life. We don't only come to shul to mourn, to cry, to fetch. We also come to say thank you. Our service continues with Shalom Rav, a song of peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'neicha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol leit u'v'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai hamavarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 da. Olam chesed hibaneh, da 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 chesed ibaneh. Ta-da-dai, dai-dai, ya-da-dai-dai. Olam chesed ibaneh. Ta-da-dai, dai-dai, ya-da-dai-dai.
Turn to page 371 as we think of those who are sick and in need of prayers for healing, recognizing the power of community and congregation to not only bring about physical healing, but also the spiritual and emotional healing that is so much a part of the healing process. Offering prayers not only for those that are sick, but for those that tend and care for the sick as well, that sit by their side, loved ones that wait by the phone, that drive for tests and wait for results, doctors and nurses that care for our loved ones, palliative caregivers and home helpers that make it possible for us to be with our loved ones and for them to be in times of comfort and peace. On this Shabbat, we ask God's blessing of healing for Kwame Song, Ellen Becker, Judy Ashburn, Jacob Dorman, Danny Liebert, David Natan Bencero, Karen Harris, Marion Baird, Michael Cavell, Yana Timko. If there are others in need of healing, I ask that you share their names now. We join with our cantor, page 371, Misha Berach, a prayer for healing.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to invite Larry Bloom, a member of our board and one of the leaders of our men's club, to come forward to share with us some announcements this evening. The announcements that he's going to share are also on your inside of your handout. Thanks, Larry. Either way.
Shabbat Shalom. Mazel Tov to Max Waterman and family. Did a terrific job tonight. Max, you did a man's work, so to speak. So tomorrow, Saturday, March the 2nd at 7 p.m., join the men's club for John Pizzarelli, an evening of Nat King Cole in the VSO at the Orpheum Theater. We'll start with a pre-concert talk with Temple Shalom member Gordon Cherry, who's a past member of the VSO. Spouses are welcome. You can register online at the Temple Shalom website or call the office. That's going to be tough tomorrow. I believe as of tonight there's only 6 tickets left, so they're just about gone. Sorry? Yeah, seriously? Okay. There are 4 tickets left. Mark Elster, did I see your hand? 3 tickets left. Daryl, there's 1 ticket left. This is great. You can have me back. Next, join our fun family Shabbat on Friday, March the 8th at 5:45 p.m. for an evening of crafts, Shabbat dinner, Robin's famous chicken schnitzel dinner, and vegetarian option available, and taught Shabbat and junior congregation services. This Shabbat's theme is Moses and the Ten Commandments. Register online or by phone by next Wednesday, March the 6th.
There is an 8:15 service next week also.
Okay, thank you. Sisterhood is hosting a fun girls' night out at Bad Axe Throwing in Surrey on Saturday, March the 9th at 6 p.m. You can register online. And the Men's Club again, inaugural Men's Room Evening. It's our first time doing this. Is Tuesday, March the 12th at 7 p.m., where the Men's Club will discuss the ethics of driverless cars, moderated by Rabbi Dan. Wine and light refreshments provided, and limited seating. You can register on the website. Our 8-week Wise Aging program starts on Sunday, March the 17th at 12:30 p.m. We will gather on Sundays for discussion and reflective work to help meet the challenges of aging and find opportunities for deeper meaning and new joys. If you are interested, please speak to Cantor Naomi. Mark, did I see your hand up? For this? 3 places left? Is that right? Okay, very good. Or email Cantor Naomi at templeshalom.ca. Next, our Harry Potter Purim is on Wednesday, March the 20th, exclamation mark. 5:30 p.m. pizza dinner, 6 p.m. Megillah reading, spiel and costume parade, or spiel and costume parade. 6:45 p.m. Harry Potter themed magic show with Norden the Magician, Hamantashen and butterbeer for all. Costumes welcome. RSVP online. Tickets are now available online for the Dreamers and Builders 2019. Join us on Sunday, May the 5th at 6 p.m. for an evening of community celebration at the Vancouver Convention Center honoring Susan Mendelson and Jack Lutsky. Finally, March is Faith Blood Drive Month, and you are needed. The Men's Club is supporting the Temple Sholom in its efforts to donate 30 pints of blood this year. Please use, and then the partner ID is in your program here, when donating. Every year in Canada, 100,000 new donors are needed, and Temple Sholom can help to achieve this. Congratulations again, Max, and Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. So last weekend, as I think many of us know, was the Oscars. Who watched the Oscars? Anybody? Okay. I will admit that I actually hate award shows. I find them, by definition, to be elitist and so incredibly self-indulgent. But in my home, I am outnumbered. My wife, Sharon, who used to work in the entertainment industry when we lived in Los Angeles, long before we had 3 kids, a minivan, soccer, hockey, and gymnastics to get to, and a mortgage, she loves them. And so since Sharon enjoys them, the kids enjoy them, and so I tolerate them, and I'm in the back cooking up the hors d'oeuvres. We make a whole Oscar party out of the whole thing. And it's not that I'm against movies. I love movies. I just don't need to indulge in the modern idolatry of a golden Oscar. But movies are powerful. It has been said that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I think that we could all agree that what we see is etched in our consciousness sometimes more indelibly than what we read or hear. All of this is by way of introduction to reference, for me, one of the most iconic movie scenes of my adolescence, a movie-based lesson that I find daily to be applicable in my life, and I find also in this week's Parsha. It's from the film The Karate Kid, the original version, not the sequels and not the remake. The original one with Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi. Do you remember that one? Wax on, wax off? Okay, good. The best one, right? So in that film, there are many iconic scenes, but the one that stands out for me, a famous scene, is when Ralph's character, Daniel, complains to Mr. Miyagi about the chores that he's having him do and how hard it all is, demanding that it is, and thus he's merely just kind of doing it halfway. Mr. Miyagi instructs him insightfully and with aged wisdom. If you do karate, yes, that's okay. If you don't do karate, no, that's okay. But do karate just so-so, you get squished just like a grape. By this, of course, he means that you can go all or you can go nothing. But to do something half intended, could have picked a word there, but I went with intended, is an affront to the discipline. It's an affront to your integrity. So I bring this up because in this week's Torah portion, we are taught a similar lesson, though not in as colorful or obvious a way. God commands the Israelites in this week's Torah portion, Vayechel, to not do any work toward the building of the sanctuary on the Sabbath. In fact, the direct mitzvah is the following. Now Moses assembled the entire community of the children of Israel and said to them, "These are the words of Adonai that Adonai has commanded to you. For 6 days is work to be made, but on the 7th day there is to be holiness for you. A Sabbath ceasing for Adonai. Whoever makes work on it is to be put to death. Yet you are not to let fire burn throughout all of your settlements on the Sabbath day." God outlines 39 labors, not just the making of fire, but 39 labors that the Israelites must abstain from because of the Sabbath. Now, the question that comes to me every time I read this is, why must God command us, or our ancient ancestors, to stop working? I mean, you can imagine that we might need to be commanded to work, commanded to put effort into something. But you would think a human being's natural repose is to abstain or refrain from working, to be more Ralph Macchio and to do it not so much, sort of half-heartedly. That human beings would voluntarily want to work, and so much so that God has to tell them to stop, is, I think, anachronistic in some ways. So why must we be commanded not to work? If we go through the list of labors, and I won't read all 39, but they include some of the everyday kinds of things: baking, extinguishing fire, kindling fire, grinding, kneading, plowing, reaping, sheaf making, sifting, sowing, threshing, winnowing. I mean, things we do every day, right? It's an agrarian society. The list goes on and on. Later in the Parsha, we learn that the Israelites are instructed to gather gifts in order to build the Mishkan, to build the sanctuary, to build the traveling and portable sanctuary the Israelites have in the desert. And again, a limit is put. They gather so many gifts, so many come with their free will offerings, that God, through Moses, has to tell them to stop. Don't give any more. There's too much tzedakah going on. Words never heard from a bima in a synagogue ever. There's too much tzedakah going on. Again, I ask the question, why does God have to tell them to stop? I mean, we can understand generosity, but we would think there are some limits to generosity and that people would naturally give only what they're comfortable with, maybe a little bit more than they're comfortable with, but not so much so that they just keep giving and giving and giving and giving. Wouldn't human nature be that they would keep some for themselves, be a little bit selfish in that moment, worry about their own pleasure or their comfort? And so the question that I have for us tonight is, what is the Torah trying to teach us here? What is the Torah trying to teach us? And the lesson, I think, in some ways, is similar to that of Mr. Miyagi from The Karate Kid, but it goes deeper, and in fact, ultimately, I think there's even a different lesson. The lesson of The Karate Kid, of course, is that you can do something or not do something, but you cannot do something without a whole heart and hope to succeed at it. A lesson I think many of us would agree with. This is true of the Parsha as well, in a simple reading. The Israelites clearly bring their whole heart to their task of building and gift-giving, so much so that it becomes a compulsion, an obsession. It becomes their fixation. But our rabbis offer another layer. You cannot become too committed, too focused on your task, be it building or gift-giving, karate, or really any of the myriad of things that we take pleasure in or find meaning in. Our rabbis tell us to put the brakes on, not to become too committed to our work, not to become too committed to fitness, too committed to food, to school, even to relationships. All of those commandments that we read a couple of weeks ago in the 10 Commandments have to do with limiting, to not covet, to not steal, to not desire other things. In Judaism, there is such thing as too much of a good thing. And so the Sabbath is given to us as a sort of metering light, a pause so that we can do or not, so that we do not become too consumed with our passions or our obligations. Think for a moment about your own passions and obligations and how they may be that fire that burns within you. How they might be, although healthy and good, may be all-consuming as well. I think here a reference of binge watching of Netflix could work as well. In Judaism, it's all about balance. And contrary to Mr. Miyagi, balance is the hard part. Balance is to do karate a little bit and to do karate not at all, to find the middle road. One of the key prohibitions that we hear actually in the 39 labors that are prohibited on the Sabbath, as I mentioned before, is the making of fire, the kindling of fire. There's a teaching on the verse in our Parsha that speaks of the prohibition against fire, and it adds that one must not make a fire of themselves. We are prohibited from burning and yearning all the time. We have to have one day when things are at rest, when our souls may be at rest. Rabban Gamliel, a teacher in the Talmud, a rabbi in the Talmud, had the following teaching. He taught that the son of Rabbi Yehuda the Prince said, "Great is the study of Torah when combined with a worldly occupation. For toil in both puts sin out of mind. All study of the Torah, which is not supplemented by work, is destined to prove futile and lead to sin. Let all who occupy themselves with communal affairs do so for heaven's sake. For then the merit of their fathers, their ancestors, sustains them, and their righteousness endures forever. And so for you, God will say, I count you worthy of great reward if you have done it all yourself." God rewards us for not studying Torah all the time. God rewards us for studying Torah and working. So there's two traditional models of a Jew that our tradition holds up. And you know them, even if you don't know the terms for them. One is the chassid, the other is the chacham. The chassid is often translated as the piety, the saint. This figure of the chassid is so devout and so pious that they go so far to understand a chassid as a saint or a tzaddik. The chassid is so extreme in their piety that they study Torah 24/6. We might think our tradition would say that that's the ideal Jew. If you've watched the movie Shtisel, or the show Shtisel, which we've been having a class on last week, and you see Haredi Judaism and you see them studying constantly all the time, you might think that's the model. That's what God wants of us, to study all day and all night. But the Mishnah that I just read to you from Talmud says no. Study must be coupled with a worldly occupation. There must be a balance, a metering between the holy and the ordinary, the daily. And so our rabbis give us another model, the Chacham. And this is the one I think Mr. Miyagi misses. Maimonides says that wisdom, the Chacham means the wise one, says that this is wisdom, this figure of the Chacham or wise man. Whereas the Chassid strives for perfection, the Chacham aspires for balance. Maimonides wrote, "In truth, it is the middle way that should be most praised." And so with all due respect to The Karate Kid, the film I loved, and Mr. Miyagi, our Torah teaches us that the true art of living is finding balance in our life, and we know this as well. On some levels, it is easy to give up sugar or easy to eat sugar. It's hard to have just a little bit of sugar, a little bit of challah. It's easy to go to the gym all the time, or never to go to the gym. Maybe easier never to go to the gym. But to work that into your life so that it's some days and not others, that's hard. Same is true with work or with study. I could be on my email all the time constantly, and it's hard to put it away a little bit. On my sabbatical, I turned off Facebook and my synagogue email completely. That was the easiest thing to do, and it was incredible. The hard part is to have a balance with it when you come back to the reality of not being on sabbatical. Think in your own lives of how you navigate that balance. It's not karate yes or karate no. It's not Sabbath all the time or not at all. It's not giving gifts completely and fully or not at all. It's finding the way to navigate and find the balance in life. And so there is, and finally, a teaching from our tradition that I think spells this out for us, and one I hope you'll take with you tonight. Good acts are those midway between two extremes that are bad, namely excess and absence. Prudence, for example, is midway between excessive desire and its absence. Generosity is midway between miserliness and extravagance. Courage is midway between recklessness and cowardice. Self-confidence is midway between arrogance and debasement. Dignity is midway between being overbearing and being obsequious. Humility is midway between pride and shame. The art of living, the command of our Torah, the example of our Torah portion this week, but at all times, is to live a life of balance. Not too much of this or too much of that, but just the right thing. How do you find balance in your life? Is being here tonight a bit of centering and a balancing act? I would think that it is. So come again. Shabbat Shalom. Our service continues, page 586. We rise for Elena. Please be seated. A reading before the mourner's Kaddish. Page 595. It's hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become. And yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more, they echo still in our thoughts and our words, and what they did is part of who we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the entire world, and each one is the breath of the ultimate one. And in affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one whose life now ended brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone, and every life finds purpose. On this Shabbat, we recall those who died during this past week or these past 30 days, whose families are in the midst of Shiva and Shloshim. As I read the name of your loved one, if you could rise and remain standing. Yosef Kabanovsky, Emerson Stoika K., and Baruch Levy. And those for whom the Yortzeit, the anniversary of the death of your loved one, falls on this Shabbat, if you could rise as I read their name as well. Percy George Abelson, Frankie Arbor Poley, Sarah Atnikov, John J. Berry, Gertrude Churtko, Joseph Coblin, Elaine Nadler Costello, Margaret Davis, Anita Dorfman, Bella Finkel, Charles Gordon, Esther Gould, Mary Gray, Gertrude Hoffman, Bernard Kaplan, Sam Kaplan, Lillian Cates, Ruth Kleiman, Betty Limeburn, Theodore Levitt, Sylvia Littner, Cyril Lukes, Carol Mate, Meyer Miller, Alistair Nicole Smith, Gertrude Ornstein, Sally Ozer, Francis Pearl, David Perlis, Mindy Preston, Moritz Rosen, Lee Schwenk, George Silverman, Tova Snyder, Bob Stevens, Edith Tapley, Sam Tenenbaum, Sid Weiner, George Woolstone, Louis Zacher. If there are others who've come to say Kaddish or names I mispronounced, if you could rise and share them as well. We look around our congregation, we see those that have stood in mourning. We don't want them to stand alone. So we rise now, providing the comfort of our presence. As we turn to page 598 for Mourner's Kaddish, we recall all of those who have died in defense of freedom and justice, those victims of terror in this land, in the land of Israel, and around the world, as well as those who died in the Shoah and the Holocaust that have no family left to remember them. We recall them for blessing as well. Page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah B'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimaru Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam ulamei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudisha brichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Daminron be'alma v'yimaru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimaru Amen. Osei shalom b'mrumav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'kol yoshvei tevel v'yimaru Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort the bereaved among us. And we say together, Amen. Congregation, remain standing for a moment. We're going to ask Max to join us and the cantor here for a kiddush and a motzi. We want to invite anybody else who'd like to join us. There's grape juice, there's manischewitz. The bar is open. Come join us. Grape juice. Leora, you want grape juice? Don't spill, don't drink it yet. Gentlemen.
Vayhi erev vayhi voker yom hashishi vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzvaham vayachal Elohim b'yom hashvihi malachto asher asa vayishbot b'yom hashvihi mikol malachto asher asa ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
V'chata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. V'chata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitanu v'yisuta yitzavanu, shivad kodsho me'ahava v'yisuta zikaron v'yisei v'reshit Yehulam l'hila l'hiyai yegudash l'her l'hon Tzrayim. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Go ahead and drink. Take a drink. We're going to do Hamotzi Lechem in hearts. Okay, come over here.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, notzi lechem l'haaretz.
Amen. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Please join us in our social hall for a kiddush sponsored by the family. Services tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Religious school on Sunday, 9:30, Minyan 9:45, and Monday morning, Minyan at 7:45. Shabbat Shalom.